Hey guys, Chef Michael Hunter here. Let's talk about pheasants. If you're an upland hunter, you know these birds are incredibly tasty, but they can be a little dry and tough sometimes. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to cook these to really maximize the flavor while still being tender. We're going to do barbecued pheasant with Alabama white sauce. We're going to marinate them in the white sauce, which has got vinegar and lemon and salt. It's going to help tenderize and break down the toughness of the breasts. And then we're actually going to make risotto with the legs. All right, so first up, let's take these legs off. And we don't have a huge wild pheasant population where I live. So I actually shot these at a game farm. So these are farm-raised pheasants, so they're not quite as tough, and you kind of notice they're not quite as yellow in the skin, but they are just as tasty, and they still are different than a chicken, and they aren't as tender as farm-raised chicken. So I've just taken the legs off. Let's take the back out. You can save these backs for stock to make the risotto, or stick them in the compost. I'm going to leave the bone on for the breast, just because it's a little bit extra flavor. Cooks a little slower on the bone. Breast, skin on. Got the rib bone at the back and the wing bone. So here's the thigh meat, which is deboned, and I'm just gonna mince this for our risotto. All right, now on to the Alabama white sauce. It is a mayo-based barbecue sauce, 1.5 cups, 3 tablespoons of prepared horseradish, tablespoon of ballpark mustard, got salt, 1/2 cup of white vinegar, juice of a lemon. I love this recipe. It's got a lot of tang to it, and when you marinate the pheasant in it, preferably overnight, at least 4 hours, it really breaks down the toughness of the meat and acts kind of like a brine. It hydrates the meat. Really, really tasty recipe. If you haven't tried it, it's certainly unique and very flavorful, and something definitely add to your repertoire, as it's quite easy to make. Now I've also got some fresh horseradish, and this stuff's really hot, but it doesn't have that vinegar sort of flavor as the prepared stuff, so I just like to add a little bit of this to the recipe for some heat. You could do like a tablespoon worth, but really great kind of depth of flavor and heat for your recipe. This just gets a whisk. We're going to save half of it for dressing the meat after it's barbecued, and right now half of it is going to be marinated overnight. Okay, we've got our Alabama white sauce pheasant that's been marinating overnight, and I've got a rip and Q here. I'll slap this on the grill, and then I've got a cool little smoker dome. Kind of helps keep the heat in and the smoke. And then I've got the other half of my sauce in a bowl. We can toss the pheasant in once it's been cooked, that has not been sitting in raw pheasant meat. Okay, we can see some color around the outside. Give this a flip. It's looking nice, juicy, everything we want. Look at that, nice color. We can take some of the marinade, drizzle it on. Now this is fine because we're still cooking, but once we're gonna take this off, we wanna swap out the other barbecue sauce that hasn't come in contact with the raw pheasant. Okay, so I just want to temperature probe this meat, and it's a little ways to go. Chicken you want to take to 165. Pheasant, I don't generally take it to 165 just because it'll be really dry. You can eat pheasant a little pink, but it's all your sort of personal preference. I would take it to at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit. That kills most pathogens and parasites. But if you are nervous, you take it to 165 internal Fahrenheit. This is about 130. So we're just going to give this a couple more minutes. Just get up to 140. All right, our Alabama white sauce pheasant is done. A beautiful color color on that skin. And you could do this with classic barbecue sides, potato salad, coleslaw, you know, whatever floats your boat. But that's going to be so tender and juicy. Give that a minute to rest and then we'll slice it up. All right, let's slice this pheasant up, stick it on the board. So this has the rib bone sort of underneath, but it tastes so much better when you cook it on the bone. And I'd say that's a good solid medium well. It's a little tiny bit pink, but it's good to me. Slice this up, stick it on our tray. And again, you can serve that with coleslaw, potato salad, whatever you think. Parsley from the garden. And there you have Alabama white sauce barbecue pheasant.